film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths.
What are you eating? I don't know. It's like a salmon churro. It's rancid. It's pretty good, Holmes.
Well, what's going on, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Film Archives, where I break down movies. Some good ones and some not so good ones. I upload new videos every week, so make sure to hit the subscribe button for more. Today, we're going to be breaking down the Pet Sematary Bloodlines. And at the end of it, we're going to answer the question, was it worth watching? So the movie starts off, we get a little narration about the Pet Sematary and how it's super old. It's over 100 years old, and it's apparently a place of power that the local Mi'kmaq tribe used to use to protect them from an evil that lived in the forest. You know, they would bury animals there, and the animal spirits would protect them. But then we get a shot of this gentleman, and he's burying a random body. The body appears to be a fallen soldier. You can see the dog tags very briefly, but you know, he's out there in the woods in the Pet Cemetery burying the body there, and his dog is accompanying him, and he's drinking out of his flask, so he's pretty stressed. Obviously, he's drinking moonshine, he's drinking vodka, he's drinking whiskey. I don't know what it is, but it's some good stuff. The body appears to be dead, but as soon as he buries it, it's reanimated. You know, you get a shot of a hand coming through the ground. Very spooky stuff, very spooky stuff. We're then introduced to Norma and Judd, and they're both like rural party, you know. But they're leaving Ludlow, Maine. They're joining the Peace Corps now. You know, they're out of there. They want to leave, so they're packing their stuff and saying their goodbyes. And he runs to the store, and he drops a photo of him and his old childhood buddies, you know, from Ludlow, Maine. Kind of get a little nostalgia. And it just so happens to be that he also runs into the father of one of the kids in the pictures. This guy's name is Mr. Baderman. It's Timmy's dad. He informs Judd that Timmy's returned from the war in Nam, that he's back from Nam, and he returned a war hero. If you were paying attention earlier, we're pretty sure that this is the guy he was burying in the beginning based on the dog tags, right? You know, and he's also buying this random hunk of meat. Pretty suspicious, right? Right? Yeah, I thought so too. Judd is having his final din-din with his mom and pa before leaving the town with Norma, and he tells them he ran into Bill Baderman, and that Timmy is home, you know, from Vietnam. And he returned a war hero from Vietnam. Judd's dad asks him to accompany him to like a hockey game before he leaves. And his dad asks him if he's told his friend Manny he's leaving. And then we get a little shot of the mayor and the post office worker kind of talking outside, saying how they found a big grave out in the middle of the Pet Cemetery. So they're suspicious as to who it was. Possibly Timmy. Timmy! Possibly. It's Timmy. It's definitely Timmy. So Norma and Judd are now leaving. You know, they're going to leave Maine, and they're on their way to Michigan to join the Peace Corps. So they have a long drive ahead of them, you know, but they're happy. You know, they get a little scene of them driving together. It's pretty cool, but suddenly a big-ass bird hits the windshield. It's really scary, but it's bad news because they pull over, the windshield's cracked all hell, you know, and then as soon as they get out, they see the dog from earlier that we saw the hand grab. He's now in front of the car. So it's not good. It's not good at all. But they're like, you know what? This is Mr. Bill Baderman and Timmy's dog, so let's go return him to his house. You know, neighborly thing to do. Norma's a little sketched out about this. She's like, I don't know if we should do that. This dog looks like it has rabies and shit, so let's just leave him alone, you know? Like, he looks like he's rabid as hell.
Fetch me their soul.
But Judd's like, nah, he's good to go. Let's return him. So then we go to Manny, and we're introduced to Manny and his sister Donna. And I had to go back in my notes and write that it was his sister because I thought they were like boyfriend, girlfriend, but I guess they're brother and sister. They have a weird relationship in this movie. But, you know, they're smoking the devil's lettuce. I mean, they're out there, brother. And they're getting super high on the marijuana. And, you know, they mentioned, hey, did you know Judd is leaving? And, you know, Manny's like, yeah, I know he's leaving, blah, blah, blah. So then they're high as shit. You know what I mean? But Manny trips and he falls and, you know, he like catches himself with his hands, but he like stabs himself on like a huge piece of wood. Brutal stuff, but it goes all the way through his hand, so he's got to go to the hospital. Judd and Norma return the dog to Timmy, who's a real doozy canoe. You know, he's got hardcore shell shock.
Okay, first off, I don't have shell shock. F*** you.
From Vietnam, but he's also a zombie skinwalker type situation. So maybe the combination of both makes him a total Chad. He basically is like, I don't know you anymore, Judd. You're just a rando to me because you abandoned me and you didn't join the war with me, and your dad paid off the doctor, so now you don't have to go to Vietnam. It's not fair. But I think you would have pissed your pants if you had gone to war. And suddenly Timmy Baterman's dog just attacks the heck out of Norma and starts aggressively biting her. Super gnarly stuff, man. Super gnarly. And Timmy's just inside kind of watching until, he goes and gets his gun and fires it into the air. And then the dog's like, all right, I'll stop. So they take Norma to the hospital, and I guess it's such a gnarly bite that they're like, we're going to hold you overnight, which is fine, I guess. I've had some pretty gnarly dog bites, but I never had to be held overnight for that shit. But whatever. So Manny runs into Judd at the hospital. He's there because earlier when he was smoking, he fell and tripped, and he kind of like smashed his hand real hardcore. Judd goes back to try to visit Timmy and check on him, but his dad, Scully Bill Baterman, he's like, no, he needs time to adjust. You're not gonna talk to Timmy right now. He's not doing good. So he kind of shoos him away, and he kind of also chads on him a little bit here, and is like, go back to your pappy who paid off the doc, so you didn't have to go to war, because it's not fair that Timmy had to. And at this point, we've kind of realized that Timmy had gone to war and unfortunately got killed. And I think Bill has some resentment towards Judd and his family for, them paying off the doctor so he didn't have to get drafted, which is pretty crummy. It's pretty shady, I'm not gonna lie. A pretty pointless scene of Judd going home and asking his dad about paying off the doctor, and his dad just kind of says, I'm protecting you. So yeah, basically he paid off the doctor. Kind of just filler there. But then we see Timmy just going bananas.
I think I'm gonna go bananas!
Saying he wants to kill the entire town. He's like, I gotta kill them before they kill me type of situation. He's super delulu. He's peeling the skin off his fingernails and his fingertips. It's just bizarre. Bizarre as f***, I'm not going to lie. So boring at this point. It took me a while to get through it, But then we see Marjorie delivering the mail, and Timmy totally just giga chads on her and is like, yeah, you suck, and I'm possessed, so I'm going to repeat your dad's suicide note to you that there's no way I would know, but here it is. And at this point, Marjorie, the post office worker, she's like, wow, nobody should know that, so there's something wrong with Timmy. And I think she puts two and two together that he's been buried in the Pet Sematary and has been reanimated. The hand from earlier, like really brutal stuff. Marjorie, which is the post office worker, she calls the mayor, and she kind of calls like a town meeting, and they come to the conclusion that they need to kill Timmy because he should be dead, but he's reanimated. The hand from earlier. It's brutal stuff. So Marjorie's on the phone, and suddenly Timmy's dog Hendrix just comes in there and goes freaking ape berserk on her and just bites the shit out of her. We see the town meeting between the mayor and Judd's dad, and Marjorie walks in, and she's just got like gnarly freaking Red Dead Redemption 2 scars on her face. She survived the dog, but she had to kill the dog. And then she's like, we also need to kill Timmy now too, because he's basically a reanimated skinwalker. It's not good. The hand from earlier is not good. But then we have a scene of Donna and Manny. They're throwing a little party, and Timmy walks in. He kind of somehow manages to just turn off the music because he's like a skinwalker type situation. So he stops the radio from playing, just demands a dance, and it's really creepy because he just starts talking nonsensical shit. It's just bizarre as hell. Manny kind of like gets in a fight with him real briefly, and they're like, you get out of here, you psychopath. And so then there's that. They all have a pretty bad time. Not gonna lie. He makes it a pretty bad time for them all. And he basically tells them that they're gonna die soon. It's pretty bad stuff. They're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
So then Manny and Judd decide, you know what, we got to get to the bottom of what's going on with Timmy. Let's go to the church, find some old town records, I guess, because that's where they keep them. And they run into the priest there, who's just like a raging alkie. He's like happy hours any hour, type situation. He's just down in wine. He's just like, sure, here, take these books I found in the organ a long time ago. And then we get a little flashback of like the old history, the original founders of the town, and like the original settlers at the time. And basically they were, pilgrims from America sent to scout out the nearby Mi'kmaq tribe for like productive land. And during which some of them died, and they buried one of the guys in the Pet Sematary. His name was Ludlow, Maine. Ludlow, the settler. It's coming together, guys. It's coming together, But yeah, they bury the guy in there, and he comes back from the dead, and he starts munching on people, and the settlers are just like, "Hey, is that you, buddy?" And it's all bad. He just starts killing people. So I guess this evil skinwalker type thing has been around since 1674. Yep, that's where it was. The little flashback was from 1674, guys. So long time, long time. So then Judd goes to kind of ask his dad, "Hey, did you know about all this history?" Because one of the founding names of the town is Crandall, and that's Judd's last name, Judd Crandall. So he's also one of the he's a descendant of the founding families, guys. Like, we're talking Vampire Diaries stuff now, dude. Like, it's getting wild, bro. Wild. So good, though. It's so good. But it's also just, like, such a boring movie. Anyway, then we go to Donna, who's by herself. She's packing up to go do an art show. It's not very important, but, she's packing up her shit, and suddenly, like, you know what, you're by yourself, you're done for. And he shows up, stabs her, starts terrorizing her, and she runs away from him for a little bit, but of course she falls, and then he catches up to her, and then he murders her. It's super brutal stuff, dude, super brutal. Then we get a scene where Timmy's back at home, and he's just eating some rando flesh in the fridge. It's crazy. He's just totally munching in there, and his dad's like, "What are you eating?" And he's like, "I don't know, it's like a salmon churro. It's pretty good, Holmes." Nah, he asks if he's eating the dog, and he's like, "No, this isn't the dog." But he's dead, so yeah. And then he's like, "Timmy, what happened to you?" And he's like, "Timmy ain't home." And then we get a little scene of him, with a noose. So we assume maybe Bill Baderman's going to hang himself, or his son Timmy. We don't know, because they don't show anything. But pay attention, because that's little details like that really matter in this movie, because it's kind of the only thing holding the movie together. But then, after that, we go to the hospital, because it's been an hour into the movie and we haven't seen Norma. So we have to go check on her now, because they held her overnight at the hospital. So we're there, and, they're about to release her and discharge her. And suddenly Donna shows up. And we now see that Donna has also been reanimated. It's not good. It's not good, guys. And, she's basically there to kill Norma, And Norma doesn't know she's been reanimated, so she's like, "Hey, Donna, what's going on? How are you?" And, they act like they're all good friends, and then suddenly she's, like, trying to help Donna because she's all dirty and shit. So she starts wiping off the dirt, and suddenly her skin just falls off her feet because I guess within, overnight, she's like decomposing, which I don't know how that works, but it's a thing. It's a thing, guys. But anyway, Donna goes on like a freaking rampage through the hospital and kills the doctor and kills the nurse, and then, kidnaps freaking Norma. And right at this exact time, Judd is going to pick her up. It's just so convenient that way, guys. It's so convenient. But he shows up and he's like, "Norma, where are you?" I mean, I would probably do the same thing if I was, her man and stuff. But anyway, he goes to the hospital and sees on the floor, there's a message written in blood that says "farm," pointing to Bill Baderman and Timmy Baderman's farm. So we're going to go assume that Donna has taken her and buried her in the farm. So then we go to Bill Baderman's farm, and we see Judd's dad's there with Marjorie, the post office worker, the mayor is there, the sheriff, the whole gang that he rallied up. So then Judd and Manny also arrive, because Judd wants to find Norma, and Manny's looking for Donna, and he doesn't know that she's been killed yet, And their plan is to basically kill Timmy and burn the whole farm. I don't know why they're burning the farm. They don't really mention that part, but yeah, that's their plan. They all have really big brains, so they decide to split up and go one at a time, go search different areas. But yeah, they slowly get killed one by one, and eventually Timmy lights the farm on fire himself, which I'm not sure why he did that either. But Inside the house, we have a now zombified skinwalker version of Donna, and she attacks Judd and Manny, and it's really scary because Manny's like, don't kill her, she's my sister, and Judd is like struggling because, his friend's yelling not to kill Donna, and he's like, well, pretty sure she's already dead, bro. But, Judd's dad walks in at the nick of time and shoots her, bang, bang, and shoots freaking Donna, and, Manny's pretty upset, he's like, why'd you kill my sister, and why'd you kill Donna? And Judd's dad's like, that's not your sister anymore, man, she's gone. And, little did we know that Donna's still alive, so she freaking gets right behind Judd's dad and shoves the whole gun through his body, like physically through him. It's super gnarly, killing Judd's dad, of course. And at this point, they realize, okay, we got to shoot her in the friggin' head, so then he shoots her right in the face and right through the eyeball. Pretty gnarly. It's actually super gnarly.
Dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude.
In walks Bill Baderman, Timmy's dad. He's like, you know what? The whole place is on fire, so we got to go down below into the cellar, which we can hide from the fire in the cellar. I don't know how smart that is. I don't know. I feel like getting off the property would probably be the better call, but it's fine. So they go into the cellar and hide, and down there they find Norma's necklace that she was wearing earlier, and they were like, well, she's got to be being held here somewhere, or she's got to be here somewhere. And then we also see a bunch of tunnels that Timmy has dug. Don't know when he had time to do that, but yeah, there's a bunch of freaking tunnels down there now, that lead away from the farm and out into like the forest and the swamp area. It's crazy, but yeah. So then we see Norma, and they buried her alive instead of killing her outright, which I thought was pretty weird, but it's fine. It's fine. So, they decide, let's go into the tunnels and look for Norma, and we'll look for Timmy down here too. Eventually, Bill Baderman, Timmy's dad, runs into Timmy and, tries to shoot him and kill him, but he's unable to do so, and Timmy winds up killing his own father, Bill Baderman, and he just, cookie monsters on his stomach there. It's pretty gnarly stuff, So they get out of the tunnels, and it leads into the forest near a lake, and this is where the final showdown begins. And Timmy has followed them out there at this point, He's followed Manny, and he's followed Judd, and, he's trying to kill everybody. He's like, shoot, I'm ready to eat for everybody. Everybody get some of this, And he's freaking out there hunting them down, and freaking they only have a few bullets left, of course. Things are getting really desperate. Eventually, they run out of bullets, and they only have a flare gun left, but they have a brief confrontation, they kind of fight, they're underwater, and they have their little final showdown. And eventually, Manny just decides to heck with it and they use the flare gun and shoot Timmy in the head. It kills him for good that time. Then we see Norma, who just Kill Bills her way out of, her earthen grave and wherever she was being held captive, which is like super convenient that she can now escape. Like, she couldn't escape earlier, but she just so happened to escape at that time. And she is perfectly nearby Judd and walks over to him. It's pretty convenient. The movie concludes. We are shown two graves, which I thought was weird because I'm pretty sure like 7 or 8 people died throughout the movie, but we only get to see the two graves. Not really sure who they're for. They're just unmarked, And then we get a scene of Norma and Judd. They decided to stay in Ludlow, Maine after all, instead of joining the Peace Corps. They're like, you know what? Our duty is here in Ludlow, Maine. We have a duty to serve here. It's really stupid ending, but it's very convenient. It's a very predictable ending. It's fine. So we also see Manny driving away finally. He's the only one to get out of the freaking town of Ludlow, Maine. He's like, I'm out of here after all that crap. So he escapes. There's good for him, you know what I mean? So then we get a final shot of Judd smoking on the porch, just like his pappy did, and his pappy before him, and his pappy's pappy before him, It's kind of become like a full circle moment, if you will. And that's the end of the movie, It was a movie, that's for sure. It's definitely a movie. But yeah, was it worth watching? I would say not really. It's kind of disappointing in my opinion. Everything was way too convenient at times, very predictable plot. The pacing, in my opinion, made it super boring. Just like a lot of stuff didn't really matter or come back into play, or it was like important details, but they were small details in the movie. Like the dog tags being buried at the beginning, like that's a pretty important detail, but they show it for like 1 second, but it's fine. It's fine. A lot of the scenes were way too dark for my liking, so if you're watching this late at night, you'll probably fall asleep. There were some cool moments within the smaller details, like I said, like the dog tags on top of the body that he's burying, kind of giving away who the character is. There's also this scene here where Timmy has like rope burn on his neck, kind of a flashback to where we saw his dad preparing the noose. So, there's some cool details in the movie, I guess, like if that's what you're into. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far, please be sure to like the video. It really helps my channel out, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But I will see you in the next video, and until next time, guys, peace! Yo, that bitch Norma looking so fine, but she's in the worst movie of all time. It's the Pet Sematary motherfucking Bloodlines.